running out of bullets.
U.S. military running low on ammo after arming Ukraine. Pentagon officials are concerned that the U.S. ammunition stocks donated to Ukraine have severely depleted U.S. stocks, weakening U.S. readiness in the event of conflict, the Wall Street Journal reported Monday. The Biden administration has drawn much of the $13 billion in weapon systems and accompanying ammunition the U.S. has provided to Ukraine from existing arsenals, according to the Wall Street Journal, while the Department of Defense has declined to disclose the number of ammunition rounds in storage at the beginning of 2022, before the war in Ukraine began. It has taken few steps to replenish depleting stocks, sparking worries that the U.S. may not have the ammunition it needs to for its own protection. The level of 155 millimeter combat rounds fired by howitzer weapon system in U.S. stockpiles has become uncomfortably low, a U.S. Pentagon official told Wall Street Journal. The U.S. has sent 806,000 rounds of the 100-pound explosive to Ukraine as of August 24th. It's not at the level we would like to go into combat, the defense official told Wall Street Journal. Supplied howitzer have extended use for Ukraine forces. Okay, so there you have it. That was the story what you were talking about.
I would say? I'd say, why don't we go to Afghanistan and get what we left behind? But, I mean, we'd have to borrow it back from Al-Qaeda because now they're, you know what I mean?
Taliban.
The Taliban. Whatever. Hey, potatoes, tomatoes. Whatever.
Potatoes, tomatoes.
You know what I mean?
By the way, for people that don't know your background, when you were in the Air Force, you were working at a nuclear. Why don't you tell everybody what you were doing?
I was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana, nuclear missile base. I was a flight security controller. Whenever I was on shift, I was in charge of 10 missiles that had up to 5 warheads on each missile. So I was the guy that would authenticate the guys the missileers, the launchers, authenticate them to go downstairs. They're the ones that get the codes. They're the ones that could launch. We had 200 missiles at my base that, from what I heard from one of these guys, we could have blown up the world like 20, 30 times over. And I'm like, why do we have so much? It's insane. But I saw Pat, because sometimes I work security where they'd open up the rail. And mind you, 18-year-old airmen down there working on a nuke. And you look down and you see it. And it was just insane.
18-year-old
kid just like this. Hey, give me a sandwich. Oh my God. But it was scary. And then they just told me, because I had to have secret clearance. He was like, listen, we have a couple of these bases. That's nothing. He goes, 80% of our arsenal is just in the water, just swimming around in all these subs. So if shit ever pops, I mean, that's why these rounds, it ain't that important because we got other stuff that we could use. You know?
Yeah, if you want to sleep easy tonight, know that Vinny Oshana had his hand on the nuclear button at any given moment.
I couldn't go near the button, but I was making sure that they could.
Okay,
you know what I mean, I was authenticating.
I want to know who you bribed to get the clearance.
No. Oh, you want to trip out? So I'm on leave. I go home to see my mom and my dad and everybody. And my 5th grade math teacher, Mr. Bonaparte, because when you get the clearance, they're asking people. He sees me in the mall. He's like, hey, Oshana. He's a huge, big, buff guy. He goes, dude, what are you doing in the military? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, somebody from the government called me and said, and I quote, does he seem like the type of kid that would grow up to do something terrorist like shit to the country? And he was like, no, he was, giving people's wedgies and climbing up trees and shit. But no, he wouldn't like blow people up. They're like, all right, thank you, click. And
they called your 5th grade teacher?
My 5th grade math teacher said that somebody called him and asked him if I turn into to be a maniac. I mean, I am a maniac, but I would never hurt the country. So
thank you for your service, buddy.
That's why I wish I was recruited by the guy that was here, the CIA agent. I'd be a great CIA agent.
Justamente.
Come on.
I don't think you could blend in well enough.
What are you nuts? I'm a comedian. I'm out there. I work here.
But he said the key is to not be noticed. You are very noticed.
Yes.
Exactly.
Come on, Pat. Come on.
Who the person here that could is Rob.
Rob,
Rob,
for sure.
Rob could be.
Yeah, if there's anything that you should know about Rob Gargiulo, not noticeable.
Not at all. Rob, is he here?
By the way, here's the good news.
Sitting right
here's
there.
the good news. Even though we are depleting in all this weapon, good news, we have 87,000 IRS agents, which is
They'll
fantastic.
save us.
Yes.
Which is and they know how to use a gun. And
Yeah,
you
they
saw
do.
them. You saw how they work.
That video was scary.
For you,
That is a great callback.
we
Pat,
have
comedy.
to feel
That's called a
extremely
callback.
safe about this entire situation. It's all going to work
So we'll
itself out.
put them right on the front lines.
If the average American really knew what we've got.
Yeah, they'd blow their mind. Yeah, lasers.
So let's skip the. By the way, the real pit bull of the world military is the American Navy. And
course.
most people don't know it. And they think, well, wait a minute, you get the ship out there, get hit by a missile and everything. You have no idea the umbrella of protection that's over those ships.
Oh, it's nuts.
And you have no idea about the nuclear subs and what they're doing down underneath. But NORAD is scary. The stuff that's under
Oh my God.
South Dakota and
Yup.
Montana specifically.
Yep.
And remember Ellsworth Air Force Base?
Ellsworth.
Where all the B-52s were. And then Tom Daschle tried to close it.
Yep.
And then the voters closed his career.
And then he was
But,
done. Exactly.
That's right. And the Thune one. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but,
Because there's Minot Air Force Base. There's one in Wisconsin. We got nuclear bases.
Well, not just that. I think you could the American people can take some solace in the fact that the United States government, as much as it's bloated and inefficient and those kinds of things, like you see, it costs $94 billion for NASA to produce a rocket, et cetera, et cetera. The U.S. military produced and built and designed a 6th generation airplane complete with AI, like in under a year. Brand new airplane, brand new airframe, all new electronics, all new AI, basically flies itself, all in under a year. Like if we want to do something, we can do it. We still have the best engineers in the world.
Of course.
We still have the best factories in the world. Like we still can do these things.
But the VA, forget it. I went to the VA and it was the worst experience of my life because I tore my ligament.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.